Do you ever stare at your to-do list and feel frozen? You know what to do, and you can't get started. I'm here to tell you it's not laziness, it's missing anchors. If you're a mom who dreams of that homestead life you see on Instagram, but you feel like you'd need an extra 12 hours in your day to make it happen, along with another set of hands, then Simply Living Homestead is for you. Hi, I'm Amanda, wife, mama, and milkmaid. I've learned the secret to simplifying my time and homestead to make room for the moments that matter. If you're ready to get time back in your day, manage your home with ease, and train your children in the way they should go, grab your pitchfork and planner, friend. Let's get to work. Are you getting Simply Living Homestead's emails in your inbox? Each week, we share encouragement and tips to help you run your homestead smoothly. You'll also be the first to hear about upcoming offers and maybe even see some photos of our baby animals in our farm newsletters. Go to simplylivinghomestead.com/newsletter to get signed up, or click the link in the description box below. Welcome back to the Homestead. Today we're talking about anchor routines and how they help simplify your day and reduce decision fatigue. Some days feel hard before they've ever begun. Tasks aren't hard themselves, but starting them is. Decision fatigue first thing in the day is so hard. You've been dealing with stuff day after day after day, and it starts compounding, and sleeping doesn't seem to reset it. This was very normal for me, and I can still experience periods of time where this is like starting to creep in, and it's starting to become a normal part of my day again. And I don't like when it does, because I do have a solution now. I started adding routines to my day. I started adding routine stacks and working in zones inside of my time. So my time management, my time blocking really is just time zones where I have a set of time set aside for a specific type of tasks. There really are only 3, and I've talked about this more in starting in episodes like 32 and 33. Those would be great episodes if you haven't gone back to listen to those. Those would be great episodes to kind of get your feet wet and get a little bit more of a baseline of what I'm talking about when it comes to routines and time zoning. But basically, there's only 3 types of time zones in your day. There is personal time, time that is set aside for you and God. There is home and family time zones, times that are set aside to take care of your home, to take care of your family, to do things that are going to really impact your home and your family. And then there are work zones. Sometimes these work zones are outside of the home. Sometimes it's a zone inside of your home. I classify work zones as being quite a diverse amount of things, but if it doesn't fall into one of the other 2 categories, it's probably going to fall into a work zone. My work zones are recording this podcast and working on coaching and creating my courses and that sort of thing. There's also a work zone that I have for chores. I have a raw milk dairy that I run. And so I have to get out twice a day and I have to do chores. And that would be like animal chores. But I also put projects into this category where if I'm working on a big project for anything, my home, my business, my farm, anything where it's like I'm kind of really going to be focusing time on a very specific large project, that's also a work block. We are working on something very specific. When we get inside of these blocks of time throughout our day, we start building in routines. Things that need to happen so that your tasks get done. Most of your tasks are repeatable. Most of your tasks are expected. They're going to come up. They're things that you do on a regular basis. And I have found that sometimes starting is the hardest part of getting into a zone. And to getting into that space and starting the routines. Because a lot of times once you can get started, the routines just one after another come. I have this set of tasks, and then I can go and I can do this set of tasks, and I can go do this sort of set of tasks. And those are the routines that get stacked on top of each other. But getting started and like going, oh, this is the thing that's kicking this off. And a lot of times I'm seeing this inside of my home and family blocks. That's where it's the hardest for me. It could be one of the other blocks for you. But getting started and going, oh, that block has started is the hardest part. So we're going to be talking about trigger tasks and anchor routines. So if we can get those two things down, the momentum will follow because we will have the rest of our routines kind of put into place, and we can work through what is being asked of us and what's required of us in that time. So, what is an anchor routine? An anchor routine is a repeatable start here routine. It's the first routine you do. The other routines might get shuffled. You know, you might do this one first today and do that one first tomorrow. But I'm saying first as in after the anchor routine. So it's not a full schedule. It's not all of the things that you have to do. It is a set of tasks that should happen first to get your brain into this position of, oh, I'm doing this now. I'm working on this now. I'm putting my brain towards this subject matter, this task, this thing. It is a bridge into more focused work. The further down you go into your routines and the way things flow, the more you're going to kind of hone in your focus on, I'm working on this thing. So we're going to really just talk about family and home here because that's where it's the hardest for me. That's where I see the need to put the most of them in place. So we're going to just be talking about the home and family zones, but you can implement this into any zone or any part of your life. Okay. So your anchor routine is really just like, a lot of times I need one right after, not a lot of times, I just need one. I need one after my work block ends where I'm like done recording or I'm done working on the computer for the day. And it's time for me to switch gears into making supper. And I need, or like cleaning up my house or getting things reset for the evening, things that are going to happen as I'm transitioning from that work block into evening home. So to have an anchor routine there means that from when I stand up, I'm like, okay, I'm done working. Time has come. I'm done working. That is where it's hardest for me to stand up and go, okay, now what was I supposed to do? But if I have an anchor routine in place where when I stand up and I'm going to engage with this zone, I do this every single time. And that helps make things easier to then go, oh, well, I did those things. Now I get to do the rest of the routine. Anchor routines reduce overwhelm because you don't have to make a decision of, okay, what's the next thing I have to do? It has a clear entry point into that zone. Your brain knows what's coming next. A trigger task is the first task that you do in a routine. You can have a trigger task for every single routine. In fact, I would encourage you to have a trigger task for every single routine, especially if you have trouble engaging. You don't have to. Really, it's only important to put trigger tasks into something if you have trouble engaging with it. So you need an anchor routine, and your anchor routine does need a trigger task because usually that's where you're going to have the most friction to get started. It's, what is it? One of Newton's laws, I don't remember what it is, where an object in motion stays in motion, right? Well, this kind of applies to your focus, your brain. It is an object in motion. It is working on one thing, and it's really easy to just keep going in that direction. where we need to stop and we need to get supper and we need to do the things. So to stand up and go, okay, this is the thing that I'm going to do. When I stop work, I'm going to stand up and I am going to go pull out the meat from the freezer. Okay, that is the trigger task. I'm going to do that. Well, every time you do that, you're reinforcing in your brain that, oh, I go and I pull the meat out of the freezer. I stick it on a plate and I stick it in hot water because I can't ever remember to do it the night before. We're going to work on that. But, if that's the task that needs to happen, we're going to put it in water so it thaws out, and we are going to make sure that the kitchen counters are wiped down, that everything's picked up, and I can start supper. That's our anchor routine, right? That I went, I got the meat, I did the thing, I made sure my space was clean. That's my anchor routine, to make sure that my space is able to be, I'm ready to work now. Hey, look, we're in this space. It's time to do the thing. So that is an anchor routine. If you go back to the 30s, in the episodes, in the 30s, you will see a bunch of episodes on time zoning. And one of those things that I talked about in that was evening resets. So your day will be set up in big zones, and inside those big zones are routines. And you're going to start with an anchor routine, and you're going to end with a reset routine. Your anchor routine is the thing you start with to start that block. Your reset routine is the thing that you do to make sure that everything is cleaned up and ready, so that the next time you come in to do that, it's not as hard. Things are ready and they're the way that you'd like them to be when you walk into that space. So we're going to bookend our zones with an anchor routine and with a tidy routine. At the very end of the day, we'll have a tidy routine called an evening reset, where we kind of bookend our day with this, okay, everything is reset, so tomorrow morning it's going to feel really good. All of that stuff is over in episodes 32 through like 37 or 8, something like that. Those episodes talk really heavily on time zones and how we can implement them in our day so that things work better and things just move a little smoother each time we go to do the things in our home that we are called to as women, as moms, as the people that are caring for our people in our homes. So our action item today, the thing that I would encourage you to do, is identify a time zone where it's hard to start. Especially if you went back and listened to the 30s, those episodes, and you have time zones set up. I want you to think about a time during your day that it's really hard to start. It's really hard to move from the thing you were doing to the thing you need to do. So you're going to put a anchor routine there. Write down 2, 3, 5, probably no more than 5 tasks that you want to do, and a trigger task. Which task are you going to do every single day, or every single time you get into that routine? What is the thing that you're going to do to trigger you to say, oh, these are the things I'm going to do, and help anchoring it in your mind and your day to how things work. Okay, so you're going to figure out your time zone where it's hard to start. Write down your starting routine, your anchor routine, pick your trigger task, and write that down. Post it on your planner or your command center. Post it where you're going to be doing that so you can see it and practice it for the next few days. And if you'd like, you can go share it inside the free Facebook community. I'd love to have you over there. I'd love to have you join us. And if you share what you're working on, if you share what you're trying to implement, you will get feedback. I'm on there, and I would love to give you feedback as we get more and more women joining there. I'm sure some of them will jump on and offer encouragement and feedback, and we can have a nice little community over there of women supporting each other on the homestead, on the raising the families that we're called to by the Lord. I encourage you to join our email list. Every week I'm sending out an email that has encouragement, reminds you that the podcast is up and live, and just like also has that action item that we talked about today. That comes in the email, so you can see it written down and you can remember, oh, I'd like to do that. If you want more help like looking at your schedule, at your time blocks, your zones in your day, the anchor routines, any of those things, I would encourage you to book a coaching call. There's the option for a 15-minute free call. And then there's also the option for actually doing an hour session with me. I'd love to sit down. I'd love to discuss with you where you're struggling and where I can help you start simplifying your day so that you can really do the things that you are being called to each day. Until next week, have a great day. Hey neighbor, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share this episode with a friend who is knee-deep in their own homestead? Also, please leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It thrills me to know that this podcast is helping you. Keep watching those sunsets, friend. I'll meet you back here on the homestead soon for another episode. See ya!